Personally, I'm impressed that they already collected this amount of intel. How did they do that when all the old owners were missing?
行方不明者の肉親や友人知人、彼らの訴えに対応した警察官が主な情報源だな。
Most of the sources are their parents, friends, acquaintances, and police officers who worked on the case.
他には住んでいた部屋の大家や運送屋なんてのもいるぜ。
Also, there were apartment building managers or delivery men. Most of them sound okay, but why the delivery men?
個人間でやり取りするにしても、距離があるなら運ぶ手段が必要だろう。
You need a delivery service when you want to get something to someone who lives far off, right? I see. You mean they checked on delivery records?
そうや。運送屋だけにな。
Yeah, they deliver reliable information because they're delivery men.
終わり。
My bad. I'm fine. You don't need to let it bother you. I had no idea how they were making that list with all the owners missing. But now I've learned about the sources of the data.
そういえば、ちょっと気になる話があるんだが。
Speaking of which, there's something else I should let you know.
情報部が調査した何か所かで、以前同じようなことを聞いた人間がいたと言われたらしい。
Some of the investigators reported that they ran into people who had been asked similar questions before. Does that mean there's someone else following the doll like us?
まあ、個人的に家族が行方不明になった理由を探しているって感じだろうがな。
Probably a relative of one of the missing people, trying to find out the cause of the disappearance, I guess. I can imagine that someone can't swallow the fact that they lost one of their family.
だわな。
So can I.
結局、このリストだけが昨日から今日にかけての唯一の収穫だぜ。
In the end, this list is the only progress we've made since yesterday. So there's nothing new about the knick-knack shop case.
贅沢を言えば、家出した人形の行方についての進展は欲しかったがな。
I wish we could have gotten anything about where the runaway doll might be at. Me too. Grabbing hold of the doll would be a big help. We could find out whether the doll has powers, or as Nanashi suggested, a human being is behind it. That would decide the course of the investigation, and the image of my opponent would be clearer, if only a little. Speaking of Nanashi, Pops, did Nanashi contact you?
おう、昨晩連絡があったぜ。
Yeah, last night.
あの野郎、人形についての資料が欲しいとだけ言って、すぐに電話を切りやがったけどな。
I couldn't believe that punk when he only said he wanted materials on the doll, and just hung up.
俺の店は通販でも保険屋でもないって話だぜ。まったくよ。
He must be thinking of my shop as a mail-order shop or insurance firm. Bite me.
出前かと思って期待したぜ。あの野郎。
Thought I got a food delivery request for God's sake. Sound like he didn't get him what he wanted.
ナナシ様の頼みだぜ。渡したに決まってるじゃねえか。
I did get him the stuff. How could I? After turning his request down. The middle-aged man gave a wry smile, indicating that he must owe Nanashi quite a bit.
でもよ、あれはどういうことなんだ?
But what does he want to do exactly?
資料が欲しいだなんて、まるで事件の調査に関わろうとしてるみたいじゃねえか。
Does he want to get involved in an investigation or something? He promised me he would help us identify the doll. That's all.
どっちにしろ、あいつが人間社会の事件に関わるって、一体どんな取引したのよ。
Whatever he wants to do, he's willing to take part in a human society case. Just what sort of deal did you make with him?
魂か。魂売っちまったのか。
Is it your soul? Did you sell your soul to him? No. He seems to be giving us support free of charge for this case.
いやいや、ナナシがただって。
Nice one. Nanashi helping free of charge. Don't worry, he says that'll benefit him too. If the doll is a material variant, that's pretty rare, which is why he wants to look into it.
そういう感じで食いついたのな。
Oh, that's how you fished him up.
あいつがただ働きなんて、ジャベリンでも降るのかと思って心配したぜ。
Him working for free. So impossible. The pigs would sooner fly.
で、あいつは何か言ってたか？
What did you get from him so far? He says the doll could be a material variant, which is no surprise, but it might be a human that's behind all this.
つまり、俺たちの同類が裏で関わっているかもしれねえと。
Interesting. In other words, someone like us might be doing this. He also says there's a possibility that the doll itself is special, and the human could be just anyone.
なるほど。物か人。どちらにしろジュニアには戦ってもらうことになるかもな。
I see. Object or human? Gonna have to fight either of them in the end. Simple and clean. I prefer it that way.
それで、ここからジュニアはどう動くよ。
So, Junior, what's your next move? Aren't you going to suggest I get some rest, like you did yesterday?
この増えてきたリストを見せた時点で、ジュニアにそれを求めるのは諦めてるよ。
I gave that up the moment I handed you the extended list. I'm going to the city center to see Nanashi and Azuma.
あのデカは切れるからな。面白そうな話が聞けたら連絡してくれや。
That cop's such a virtuoso. Tell me if you get anything interesting from him. Pops thinks the world of Azuma's performance as a cop, based on his past accomplishments regarding variants. And what's a cop? A slang word for a police officer, of course. The term is used quite often, not just in fictional works, but by the police themselves in reality. There is, by the way, no such rank or class as cop. Of course there isn't. And kind of do wonder, how do you get cop from police? Hello? Hello. I'm also considering visiting the knickknack shop after seeing them. What do you think?
お前以外なら答えはノーだが。
If it were anyone but you, the answer would be no, but...
あの店の従業員の中には事件につながりそうな人間も俺たちの同類もいないことは調査済みだしな。
We have confirmed that none of the shop staff are our kind, or otherwise involved in the incident. I appreciate it. I'll be careful not to disturb the other investigators. There might be some undiscovered evidence or clues still left there, or the culprit might return to the crime scene. I guess it's about time to leave.
ああ、そういえばちょうどおやつの時間じゃないか。
Oh boy, look at the time. I think it's snack time.
ジュニアもお腹が空いているんじゃないかな。
You must be pretty hungry, Junior. I'm not.
ですよね。
Guessed as much. Guessed as much. And goodbye to Nanashido, though. Nanashido. The dojo. I find my voice cracking. I find Nanashi gazing at a piece of paper after entering through the door. Hi. What a surprise! It's unusual for him to not greet me. It's unusual for him not to greet you to take the initiative in the negotiation.
そろそろいらっしゃると思ってましたよ。
I thought it was about time you arrived. Pops told me that he got you the files on the doll.
ええ。写真を含め一通り拝見しました。
Yes, I went through them, including the picture. So how did it go? Do you have anything new to share?
昨日の推測が大きく外れてないことが確認できたって感じですかね。
I learned that my speculation wasn't that far off the mark.
この人形であれば物理である可能性は低くないかと。
The doll is now more likely to be a material variant. You mean she's old enough to be one?
ええ。紙は人毛ですし、作りや材料から見ても大正から昭和初期のものでしょう。
Indeed, she has human hair. I can tell she was made in the Tasho, or early Showa era, based on her building materials.
種類としては一般的な日本人形として想像される市松人形ではなく、生き人形と呼ばれるものです。
She's not an Ichimatsu doll, which is generally recognized Japanese doll category, but she falls among the living dolls. And the Ichimatsu dolls were the dolls in the kimono, right? A doll made from wood or lumps of wood chips. The head and body of the four limbs are made separately, and the limbs are somewhat movable. Children used to enjoy playing dress up with them. And living dolls. A finely crafted human-like doll that had been very popular into the Edo era and the beginning of the Showa era. They were more used for exhibition purposes during entertainment performances, rather than as art objects, and most of them were discarded as people were getting tired of performances of that sort. For that reason, only few exist today despite their past popularity and volume of production. Living dolls?
もちろん本当に生きているわけじゃなくて、生きている人間に限りなく近く作ろうっていう人形のジャンルです。
Of course, they are not really alive. They're dolls created to be as lifelike as possible.
身につけている友禅の着物も多少傷んではいますが、相当にいいものだと思われます。
And the Yuzen kimono she's wearing looks damaged, but it's still quite masterful work.
大切にされたり、特別な思い入れがあったとしても不思議じゃありません。
I wouldn't be surprised if she was prominently displayed or given special attention. Which means she had a chance to turn into a material variant.
ですです。
Yes, yes. Now that she's staring at the picture with a delighted look on his face, I can infer that the doll must be fairly rare.
ただ、一点、何と言いましょうか。
But there's one thing that's, I don't know what to say. Is there some problem with the doll?
いやね、物理かどうかを抜きにしても、なんだかこの人形は妙なんです。
I mean, even if I put aside the possibility of her being a material variant, she's still odd. Are you seeing that as a disobeyer?
いえ、僕の力は実物を目の前にしないと発揮することはできないので。
No, because I can only activate my powers with the real object at hand.
一般的な人形の知識と照らし合わせた時の問題です。
I'm pointing it out based on general knowledge on dolls. Is it something even I can understand?
はい。一言で言えば人形のサイズについてです。
Yes, the thing is, the doll's size. How does that matter?
いえ、なんだか興味をそそるなーって話です。
It interests me rather a lot. Okay. If this weren't him, I would probably blame him for being thoughtless. There have been a large number of injured or missing victims around the doll. I cannot even imagine how tormented and saddened the victims and the people close to them must be feeling. But, as a disobeyer myself, I can understand his enthusiasm that derives from our own uncontrollable emotions, even though the trigger is different.
それでユウさんに一つ提案なのですが、今回の件、互いに協力をしませんか？
I have a proposal for you. Why don't we help each other out on this case? Help each other? Do you want to get more involved in this?
個人的に腰を据えて、この子のことを調べたくなったんです。
I'd personally love to sit down and examine this girl more earnestly.
彼女がどこで生まれ、どうしてこんな事件に巻き込まれているのかを。
I want to find out where she was born and how she ended up in this case. It might be hard to figure that out. Pop said they might not be able to trace her history back any further.
僕は僕なりの角度で調べますので、心配いりませんよ。
No need to worry. I have my own methods.
それでですね、そちらの方でも何か情報を手に入れたら教えていただければなぁと。
So, I was wondering if we could share information when you learned anything. Want information from me?
はい。もちろんこちらからも情報は伝えますし、力になれることがあれば協力します。
Yes, and of course, I'll share what I know and assist wherever I can. Okay, I'll ask Pops to provide you with our info as well.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much.
もちろん僕が知りたいのは事件についてではなく人形についての情報だけですからね。
Oh, let me make something clear. I want to know about the doll, not the case.
人間のドロドロとかはまっぴらごめんです。
I don't want any part of human soap operas. Yeah, I know. Talk about lucky. That's perfect for me. So I've been thinking about taking it upon myself to investigate the shop owner, the shop manager, the only surviving doll owner, and its surroundings. There won't be any problems as long as Nanashi and the intelligence department are at it.
それにしても楽しくなってきました。
You know, this is getting to be so much fun. Glance at his face is enough to tell me. It's enough for me to tell that a non-expert like me will have no room on the stage. He's as excited as a student, as a kid who's just found a treasure map. Scenarios and available in other districts unlocked. That's what it said? Think so. Oh, yep. Knew it would do this finally. That's right. Okay, so ramen shop or family restaurant? I guess to the ramen shop. Even during the lunch hour rush, this ramen shop typically enjoys a serene hush, but it does get occasional visitors. Glass door slides open, two little shadows step in.
おっちゃん、遊びに来たぜ。
Pops, we came to play with you.
こんにちは。
Hello.
おう、おちびども。二人だけで来たのかい？
Oh, hey kids. Just you two. The chef can tell they're not here to eat his dishes. But then again, this is not a place that they would usually come and play. Casually come and play. There are a lot of facilities on this side of the station that serve to entertain children.
お母さんがお父さんに頼まれた用事済ませてる間、このお店で待っててって。
Mom told us to stay here while she's running some errands for Dad.
おばちゃんがこの店で待ってろってさ。
Aunt told us to wait here.
たまちゃんも来てるのかい？
Tama's around too, huh? Their simple replies answer the chef's question. It's understandable that Suzuka's mother, the wife of one of his best friends, has things to do on the street. These two kids must be accompanying her for something else.
上崎駅にハンバーグ食べに行った帰りなんだ。
We just went and ate hamburger steaks at Kamasaki Station. We're on our way home.
美味しかったな。
They were yummy.
おっと、それは残念だね。俺の必殺ハンバーグをご馳走してやったのによ。
Oh boy, what a bummer. Could have made you a lethal hamburger steak. In contrast with his voiced regret, the shop owner never tries to force the kids to eat his dishes. It's not only because of pressure from those around him, but also how he feels about them. They're both children of his two best friends. He has been watching them grow since they were little. Since their fathers frequently go out of town on business, he's determined to care about them in their place.
ところでおちびども。さっきまで兄ちゃんが店に来てたぜ。
By the way, kids, your brother was here until a moment ago.
知ってる。朝に兄ちゃんから聞いたもんな。
You know, he told us he went this morning.
お兄ちゃん、頑張ってるの。
He's working pretty hard.
おうよ、頑張ってたぜ。
Totally. He's working hard. Seeing their carefree smiles, the chef breaks into a broad smile. He has spent the past few days reading disheartening documents. It feels like the entire shop is filled with stagnant air. The kids' bright smiles have just cleared it up, or so he feels.
それで、何かして時間でも潰すかい？
Okay. You guys want to do something to kill time?
お店、大丈夫なんですか？
Aren't you working right now?
じゃあさ、かくれんぼしようぜ。俺たちが鬼でさ。
I want to play hide and seek. The two of us will be it.
鬼だよね。
We will be it.
隠れる方より鬼が多いとは斬新じゃねえの。
More seekers than hiders. That's a novel way to do it. As a man in his 40s, he is too embarrassed to let anyone else see him wholeheartedly play along with children. He's grateful that there are no others there at the moment.
まあ小さい頃に忍者と呼ばれた俺の腕前を見せてやるとするかね。
They called me ninja when I was a kid. I'll show you two how good I am.
で、俺たちはおっちゃんを探さずに家に帰ると。
And then we'll just go home without looking for him.
こっそり帰るの。
We'll go home covertly.
そんなことしたら心が捻挫しちゃうだろうが。
That'll break my heart.
しし、冗談だって。
Just kidding.
いや、あいつらの子供だって考えると本当にやりかねない怖さを感じるぜ。
Given who your parents are, I'm afraid that it will actually happen. There were times when he fell for the practical jokes pulled by their fathers, but he decides to keep that a secret. Things were to go wrong, his spiritual injury would only grow.
ねえジュン君、私だるまさんが転んだやりたい。
Say, June, I want to play red light, green light.
ここだと物が多くて面白そうだな。
That would be fun to do here, because there's a lot of stuff around.
店の中を走り回るのはなしだぜ。
No running around the store. Suzuku and Jun have their curiously mature side. Even though he just warned them, he knows that they wouldn't do the kind of sinless things other children would.
へえ、小さい頃にダルマキングと呼ばれた俺の腕を見せてやるぜ。
They called me the king of stoplights. I'll show you two how awesome I am.
で、俺たちは椅子に座ったままずっと動かないと。
And we'll just keep sitting on chairs without budging a bit.
30分は動かないの。
For 30 minutes at least.
それよ、一人で前向いたり振り返ったりしてる悲しい中年の出来上がりじゃねえかよ。
That would make me a stupid middle-aged man who keeps turning around for nothing.
しし、冗談だって。
Just kidding.
もうそれを思いつくことが怖いって。
Just the fact that you thought it up is terrifying. These kids are even worse than their fathers. Reminding himself of his best friends, he feels afraid of how their little kids will end up in the future. And they'll probably be fine.